Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bill,
And I'm DK.
and boy, do we have a fun show for you today because we have a review and a debate. How many podcasts can say they've got both?
None except for us.
I know, real, or at least this week
I
anyway.
listen to all of them, but usually it's a debate or
A review.
a review.
So,
There we go. I know words.
so we're gonna save what the debate is as a surprise, but the review. Oh boy, this is one that
Yeah.
you guys are gonna really enjoy. In Your House 5 Seasons Beatings.
Is that what it was actually called? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Seasons beatings.
Seasons
You know what?
Beatings.
I do remember the opening segment now. So and Vince McMahon, Jesus, he should have been commentating for more. I love a good McMahon commentary.
There's so many things we're gonna talk about with
The
that
false
show.
the false finishes, like every 2 count, he got him.
Hang
Oh.
on, no.
Why are you so angry?
So, um, so before, so before we get into all of that, it's been a few weeks since we've done our last show. Um, in short, Randy Orton came back at Survivor Series,
Yeah,
and at the same show, CM Punk returned.
right. When I told people don't hold your breath because he's not coming back, I was wrong.
So was I.
And let's not forget about the big return, our
Oh
truth.
my God, the hero of Survivor Series.
CM Punk, who cares? Our truth is
I
back, people.
I mean the fact that our truth came back in a segment about potato chips puts him into my top 5 heroes of all
Did
time.
you watch the press conference after Survivor Series? Because Triple H made a big thing about it. He's
I
like, let's talk about the return. Our truth.
truth.
He
I
did the
didn't
same
stay
thing
up
I
for
did.
it, but I did see the clip.
Yeah.
I
Because
mean,
obviously everybody was wanting to talk about CM Punk
yeah.
and Randy Orton. But yeah, we're this show is gonna be what we wanted to record this after the Monday Night Raw, but life's busy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, things happen.
But we are going to talk about the Survivor Series, the fallout, the Raw after, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
few things that have happened since,
Yeah.
and where we're going, what we think's going to happen. So this is gonna be a good show.
Yeah.
This is your
So
first time, yeah, you're gonna like it.
so I think with that Raw, it was a pretty good episode of Raw.
Yeah,
Orton
it,
had a Orton had a good segment to start. And I'm
yeah,
not the biggest Orton fan, but he had a very good start to that show.
yeah.
Um and then he and Dominic were basically the main event match for Raw that week.
Hmm.
And oh my God, Dominic is so good. He has improved in a year like so few I think I've ever seen.
They can put him with anybody,
Yeah.
anybody the crowd's gonna cheer. They put with Dominic now
Yeah.
because and they just announced CM Punk's first match will be against Dominic at MSG on December 30th
Yeah.
at a live show. That's another reason. Dominic has been like a top three WWE guy this year.
If if
And
someone
Seth and Cody.
if someone was to go on to Twitter at House of Bill and say, Bill, Dominic Mysterio is an MVP of WWE in 2023, I would not disagree with you on that.
I,
He
I
would
would put like Rollins ahead of him,
he'd
and
be
maybe
near the top,
maybe Cody, but he's there. He's right there.
but yeah, I mean, gosh, he's been so good this year.
Yep.
Um, but of course, I think the thing that we do have to talk about is the Punk promo at the end. And I said this a couple weeks ago on that wrestling show, and I'm going to say it again here. The fact that fans were complaining about the promo. What did you want him to say? Did you want him to be on the mic and like viciously burn everybody on the microphone? No. It's his first night back on Raw in 9 years.
It was just very hypocritical of everything he said when he returned with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Like he called WWE like a cancer.
Home.
He called this is the first time he's been back to professional wrestling, because where he was before, he didn't say WWE, but he referred to it. That's not wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like he made that a point. And then he kind of has to go back on everything he said. And then I'm home was a little much.
Yeah.
Because he's never been a homegrown
WWE guy.
WWE style wrestler.
No.
He's an indie guy. He's Ring of Honor. He's then he went to AEW. His AEW run wasn't great, but he's not known. He's not like, when he retires, is he going to be known for his WWE career? Maybe.
I mean, there were some moments, the pipe bomb.
The pipe bomb was great.
The match that led to it.
Yeah, his 434 days.
Yeah.
Is something people will remember for sure, and his early stuff. But yeah, so we're gonna get into this.
Yeah, I mean, my thing with the Punk thing, Phil,
Supposed to say, right? Hey, I'm just kidding.
I'm at 50-50 because part of me is very cautious about this, because it's like, if something were to happen, he's done for good. Because
Yes.
he's burned every bridge at this point. Like, the only one that he didn't really burn a bridge with is TNA. I know we don't ever mention TNA here, but they were going to offer him some big time money before WWE got involved. So
let's be honest about something, okay? It's the wrestling business.
It is.
You can't burn a bridge. Okay? Trust me. If CM Punk, after 2 years in WWE, wanted to go back to AEW, they would take him back. But if there still is a company at that point.
But here's the thing, though. Triple H is near sainthood in WWE.
Yeah.
Now, let me explain to our viewers, our listeners. He managed to bring back Bruno Sammartino, who for years was like, no, I don't watch that. And he had a legit point, Like, that's one of the things I've always liked about Bruno, was like, he stuck to his guns.
Yeah.
He wasn't hypocritical. He was, the truth. And then when Triple H showed him, he was like, oh, okay, you know what? You guys are getting it. So he managed to bring Bruno back. Then he somehow got the Warrior back. Which...
the guy that buried him in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania.
Which we did review.
We did.
And then not he single-handedly, but he was part of getting Punk back. Like, we're probably near one more unexpected return away from making Triple H a saint at this point. Okay,
so since we're talking returns, can Ryback just go away? Like, is he wrestling anywhere? Like, has he been relevant since 2012?
Did you hear about what happened to him earlier this week?
Oh my God, what happened now?
He was at a Taco Bell.
Yes.
In the drive-thru. And the person that was at the window
was he yelling, "Feed me more"?
Like, why didn't you keep your promise? What are you talking about? You said you were going to retire if you returned.
No, I didn't.
I said if you returned to AEW.
Fragile Phil. He calls him Fragile.
I can't believe I liked Ryback. His theme song was pretty cool too.
He was just Goldberg, but worse.
Yeah, he was.
Are you kidding me? Feed me more.
I tried to teach that to my nephews. It didn't
Oh,
go too far.
I hated him so much.
So
And then
yeah,
he did, and then he screwed it up and injured people and hurt himself.
yeah. So
But part of me wants like Ryback to come back somewhere so I can watch and see if he can actually wrestle.
now
'Cause I don't know.
I now one other thing I do want to say is, we're slowly building up to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
The men's Rumble, they've already got two favorites, Rhodes and Punk, to win.
yeah,
I wonder what Triple H is like, what his mind is going through right now, knowing he's got what, 6 weeks till the Rumble.
yeah,
Like, does he have it set in his mind who is going to win, or is he going to wait till the day of? Or because you could go so many ways. I mean, the fact, because the story with Punk is fascinating in itself, because his
yeah,
last match was at the Royal Rumble 10 years ago.
yeah,
Cody's going for something that hasn't been accomplished in 25 years, winning back-to-back Rumbles.
yeah. Like Sean did that.
Shawn did it, Austin did it, Hogan did it. No one's done it since.
The Cody thing intrigues me because, like, if you compare it to Sean won the Royal Rumble, went to WrestleMania,
Lost.
then he came back. Like when he won the Rumble, he was the number one entrant. He was a heel. It's a little bit different than Cody. And I think we know right now the two main events.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like Punk and Rollins, it's just perfect. It's like Sean and Brett. And then you got the rematch, finish the story
Mm-hmm.
match. Um, the thing is there a way that they could throw something in here where maybe the Royal Rumble winner can challenge any champion he wants? Could they change that? Could could they have LA Knight win the Royal Rumble and challenge for the US title or the Intercontinental title? Because my opinion, the Royal Rumble winner is elevated with that win.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk doesn't need any elevation. Cody Rhodes doesn't need any elevation. They can still main event WrestleMania. It's just like if CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble, are fans gonna like it?
Some will, some won't.
Because they don't want, like, I know Triple H doesn't want booing when CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Unless maybe he's gonna heel turn.
Right.
And then Rollins is the favorite or is the babyface in that match. It's going to be interesting, but I do think that they do have those two matches set in stone.
I've seen
Something happens.
I've seen that Gunther and Brock is more than likely going to happen.
Yeah,
The part that I'm scared of is it could be for the Intercontinental title, and Brock wins the Intercontinental title, which he does not need. He
no,
doesn't need that belt
they'd be better off if Gunther dropped the belt.
before.
But
Yeah.
but then, how could you do that with keeping them strong? Like, because this whole thing is he's like it would be great if Brock came back
Mm-hmm.
and maybe has an interaction with Gunther in the match, in the Royal Rumble match. Maybe Gunther eliminates him. Brock challenges him for the Intercontinental title, and Gunther beats him at Mania. Maybe that happens
Yeah.
because a Brock a Brock win. Like Brock is kind of bigger than that now. I think. I think he's trying to give back to certain guys. So I don't think Brock would be that guy that goes in the office like I have to win.
Right.
I think Brock's more about, hey, how much you going to pay me?
Yeah.
I want to go back to my farm and chill for 6 months. You going to pay me?
Let me go hunting.
I'll take all the chops you want, and then I'll lose right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of what I think.
And then the other thing is the women's rumble. Where does
Yeah.
that go? Like, there's no, like, honestly, there's no clear favorite right now to say she's going to win the rumble,
Yeah.
which I actually kind of like.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think last year we had a couple that we thought would win
Mm-hmm.
in both matches, but Cody was like the clear favorite,
Yeah.
and then
And then the
yeah.
women's ended up being like one of like maybe the best of the women's rumbles up to that point.
Who
So
won? Who won last year? I can't remember.
Rhea did.
Rhea won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. It's going to be a fun time of year. Like
Mhm.
once January kicks in, like the shows pumping out episodes every week, and there's a lot going on.
Once we get to the first weekend in January, that's when I start to get excited
Oh yeah.
because it's like, oh my gosh, we're almost there.
When I'll be honest with you, when I was sitting there watching Raw, when Seth and CM Punk were in the ring together, like I could feel that. And that Rollins promo, one of the best he's ever had. I was loving that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, because there was a lot of real stuff behind it.
Mm-hmm, there is. It's just a
So
matter of can one
that's
or
what
both.
makes the best kind of wrestling storylines is based on realism.
Yeah. Now it's going
So
to be can they both stay professional, and I'm hoping they will. So
if Edge and Matt Hardy can,
exactly. Although Edge and Matt Hardy was a lot worse than this. So
that's what I'm saying. It was a lot worse, and they were able to do it for the wrestling business. So
all right. So now we're gonna get to something pretty fun. Oh, you know what? Hold on a minute. There's one thing I forgot to do. And we're gonna do it right now. Because if I forget between now and say the end of this year, which is 2 weeks away, I'm gonna kick myself in the pants. As soon as my email decides to load up. Okay, you know what? It's gonna take a little while. So why don't we why
we
don't we
got
do
slow internet here, people.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So let's get let's get into this debate. Okay.
Okay.
So this is our maybe our first ever DK versus Bill debate.
And don't get all upset with me, okay?
Oh, I'm
okay.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm pretty good.
There's so many people that get so pissed when I
I
say what
know.
I say, and it's awesome, and that's what I love to see. I wish we had more heated debates on our Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I get it. I'm in these other Facebook groups, but wrestling, and I say things, and it's just like trigger, trigger, trigger,
Yep.
troll, troll, troll. Like, oh my god, you guys are losing it. I
All
love
right.
it.
So the debate today, WWE versus AEW. I will take the side of AEW for this debate.
Okay, okay.
And DK, you will take the side of WWE for this debate. This is
Sure.
just we don't have like any questions or anything. We're just gonna
We're just gonna say things.
and hurt our feelings and go cry in a corner and
Well, why don't you defend AEW,
okay.
and then I will come back and tell you why you're wrong.
Okay. Now
That sounds
I'm
rude.
gonna be one of the few people that's gonna be real with all of you about AEW.
Sure.
It is not the number one promotion. It's WWE. I'm gonna be real with you. Okay. I'm a realist. One of my friends told me this a few months ago over the phone, and I think he hit it on the nail about me, which is I've never been a fan of one particular promotion. And what he meant by that is like, you've never been oh, you are WWE through and through, TNA, Ring of Honor through and through, which is true, which is true. AEW, for me, for the most part, it's had its bad moments, but for the most part, has been a good wrestling organization. It has given us young talent, brand new stars, and we've had some dream matches. Tony Khan is maybe the nicest promoter in the history of professional wrestling. Like, he really, really cares about people, which is surprising because, pro wrestling's a ruthless, cutthroat, sport, entertainment, whatever you want to call it. Like the things he did for Brody Lee and his family, like that's something I think even you would agree is
totally
tremendous.
Yeah, that's not what this debate is
Oh
about.
no, it's not. It's not.
Tony Khan and what he's done.
Right, exactly.
That's incredible.
There have been over the years some high points that AEW has had. They've had fantastic matches on pay-per-view. They've had these incredible matches. They right now have this tournament on TV going, the Continental Classic. Those matches have been really fun to watch each and every single week. They really have been. And it's keeping me entertained. The other thing that kind of gets me excited about AEW is the fact that they are getting young stars put over. Like MJF, for example. My God, what a year he's had as world champion. Orange Cassidy, who's Jacob, my nephew's favorite wrestler, and he doesn't watch wrestling. But when Orange Cassidy's on, he's going to watch. That's how much Cassidy is over. You've got international talent. You've got all this stuff. The pay-per-views have been, like I said, for the majority, have been really good. Last pay-per-view was but there was a match that I really, really liked that a certain someone did not like or will never like because of the style that it was. And this is where I'm going to defend AEW. Because one of DK's favorite people, Mr. Jim Cornette, who I've met and I like him. I do like Jim Cornette. Probably not as much as DK, but I do like Jim Cornette. Was bashing this match. But Swerve Strickland gave the greatest reply I've seen in a long time, saying, "You basically promoted my match for free." The problem that I have with a lot of fans, not DK, because DK's not that type of fan. The problem I have with a lot of fans today is the fact that they want AEW to go out of business. They want them to fail. We waited nearly 20 years for a second promotion to be on a national stage like WCW was. Mm-hmm. Now we've got it. It's been 4 years. Talent has come and talent is gone. You're not going to be able to keep everybody. They right now are in a little bit of a rough period. I'll admit it. But where AEW succeeds for me, pardon me, to where WWE I think fails at times is the element of surprise. Like, you don't expect this guy to go over. You don't expect this champion to lose. You know, it's almost like when you watch a pay-per-view, an AEW pay-per-view, you're gonna get good wrestling. You're gonna get good talent. But there's always going to be a little bit of a surprise. And I think what entertains me with AEW is the element of surprise. And one of the best things I think right now going is the angle with the devil. Who is the devil? We don't know. You know, we thought, oh, it's this person, it's that person. We don't know. Sometimes when you get to the end and you get the reveal, it's a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta thinking this may not be one of those that disappoints. I say to those, stay with AEW. It's gonna get better. They're gonna get back. Do I think Tony Khan needs to do a few things to change it up? Yeah, I do. But I think AEW is gonna be all right. They are a healthy number 2 brand. And really, the best way to say it is it's okay to be Pepsi. You know, you can't be Coca-Cola. It's okay to be Pepsi.
That's a good analogy. I like how you put that. And like, I know you said this is a debate. I guess it's a debate. I'm not here to trash AEW.
Oh, no, 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 no. I know that.
I was just saying how this whole thing started was I posted, I reposted something that somebody put, and it was kind of like a WCW mistakes post.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading it, and it was almost word for word what AEW is doing. I see old WWE wrestlers taking up TV time that should not be. They should. Ric Flair should not be on AEW TV talking about how many 18-year-olds he wants to go home
Well,
with.
that was edited off. That
I
was
know they
edited off.
edited it off.
But
He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be out there saying that in front of kids in the freaking audience. They should, that's kind of how this whole thing started.
yeah,
Like
basically.
old wrestlers trying to get ratings, like signing Edge to have a program with Christian is good, but how long is it going to be good? This is another guy. The guy's 49 years old.
Good point.
Okay. This now I know there's some wrestlers in WWE that are at that age too. Randy Orton's like 43, AJ Styles is up there too. So I understand that. I see the same mistakes like WCW was going in 96 and 97. And then they started phasing out because of those same mistakes. They had great wrestling on WCW. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, those guys. And the NWO and Hulk Hogan and all these older guys would always take over the spotlight. And that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I see the same thing with AEW. I see these great, great wrestling matches in the middle of the card. And then I see a 50-year-old come out and do a promo and take up the main event slot. I just, and I love having AEW and WWE. It's good having a war again. It's not to the point of 97
Oh no, it'll never be.
by any means. I don't think AEW will ever get to that point. I think there's going to be guys going back and forth for years. Like if MJF went to WWE in 2025, I wouldn't be surprised because he made comments about doing that last year.
Mm-hmm.
There could be guys not being used that end up in AEW, similar Dolph Ziggler. He wasn't being used. If he went to AEW, he'd probably be one of their top guys. It's just the way it is. I just it's not. I'm not bashing AEW. It's very scary because they have an owner that has endless money.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep doing it and doing it, buying guys, bringing older guys in. Like if he signs Ryback, like oh my god,
No, he's not gonna.
he might.
He would lose the fans if he signed Ryback.
Yeah, you're telling me if he had the opportunity, he wouldn't sign Goldberg and Ryback and have them fight in a major show? I guarantee you he would.
I don't know. Now, I
That's
will
because
say,
I like for this debate, the wrestling is great on AEW.
mm-hmm,
I just hope that they stick with that. Like push the young guys, the great wrestlers. Even Brian Danielson, like I'm not sure how old he is. He's still in that spot where he's a great wrestler.
mm-hmm,
And it's cool seeing all these different matches.
yeah,
Sure. And different matchups. You don't see the same program go on and on and on.
right,
And the tournament's been pretty good from what I've seen.
mm-hmm,
So um but if you look at the roster that WWE has right now, especially with CM Punk and Randy Orton back, it's an all-star cast over there. So
oh, it is,
we'll see. And I hope like there are so many fans are like, I can't like I'm an AEW fan. I can't watch WrestleMania. Like, yes, you can.
yeah, you can,
And if you're a WWE fan and you used to like Daniel Bryan, you can
you
watch him
can
on the
still
other
watch
channel.
him.
Like
Okay,
that's there are way too many people like that. That it's
and
like us against them. It
can
doesn't have
I
to be like that.
can I say one thing?
Sure.
Because you and we've discussed privately
We have.
Sting's last match,
Sure. That's another guy. He's old too.
but but
but
well, okay, I'm not gonna make the argument with Sting, but we are going to do the weekend of his final match a watch along. I think Sting's final match is going to be that rare occasion where non AEW fans and AEW fans are going to come together to celebrate Sting. It's
yeah.
going to be like, let's put this hatred aside for one night and let's celebrate the man for what he's done.
Now who's he fighting? What's his last match?
March 3rd.
Do we know the opponent?
Not yet. It's 3 months away.
It is it an AEW event?
It is an AEW pay-per-view.
Okay. Okay. So he's an AEW employee. He's wrestling for that company and that promotion on his last night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, and the significant, like the historical significance, is it's going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina, which is where he and Flair had that big breakout match. Sure. But one last thing I want to say, and then we're going to get to something fun. One of the things that I think the wrestlers in AEW have done is if they've been in WWE and they didn't have the opportunity to develop a character, they've been able to do it here. And the perfect example is Toni Storm. Oh my gosh. She like her change from being like the punk rocker to timeless Toni Storm is the best thing all year I've seen.
That is pretty good.
I am all for it. And the fact that last week they had Ben Mankiewicz from TCM introduce her kind of makes it that much better because I do watch TCM from time to time. So
Nice.
So yeah, I mean I'm still gonna watch WWE. I'm still gonna watch AEW.
We're a wrestling podcast is what we do.
Exactly.
We wrestling and we talk about it.
Yeah.
And when we first started this, it was more of reminiscing on the old days.
Which it still is.
Which it still is. But we get excited about events coming up
mm-hmm.
and things like that. So like we're talking, we watched our last show was Survivor Series preview.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit when we're reviewing December in your house, 1995. So
Well, before we
people are
get
probably like, "Holy, how far are we in? Are you going to start talking about in your house yet?"
before we get to that, I
We're
got one last
getting
thing. Um, we have our Spotify year-end notes
nice.
because I've wanted to save this for the next time we recorded. So we're doing it
Okay.
today. We're going to do it now. So I'm going to start off with this. I almost called you Fro, DK.
Oh, one
Oh,
sec.
we got someone at the door.
I got to step in.
All right. So, DK, on
Yes.
Spotify, what do you think was our top episode played this year on Spotify?
This year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't remember all our episodes this year.
I'll give you a clue. It's a review.
It's a review.
It's a review.
Okay. Was it a main show or
It is a
yeah.
main show.
Okay. Man, I'm spacing. I want to say like WrestleMania 12 or something.
That's a good guess.
WrestleMania 8?
No,
Was it a WrestleMania?
it is not a WrestleMania.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I'm spacing here. Survivor
Sur-
Series.
yep.
Say it
Survivor
again.
Series 95.
What? The one that we did where you were at.
Yep. Was our most was our top episode this year.
Really? How many plays did that thing get?
It was streamed 168% more than our average episode.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I'm wondering why that one was so popular.
I don't know.
Like, because we want to we want to know why these things are the most popular, and then we want to do it more often, right?
So, 25% of our listeners discovered our podcast in 2023.
So we got 25% growth in a
Yep.
year.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
We've been streamed in 3 countries, with the U.S. being the top country. Doesn't say what the other 2 are, but I'm gonna imagine
Canada,
Canada's one of them. Yeah,
maybe UK.
maybe. Yeah. So our listeners, their top podcast genres: sports, true crime, and comedy.
Yeah, those are popular podcasts for sure.
Our listeners' top music genres are pop, alternative metal, and post grunge.
All right, alternative metal.
Yep.
Not even sure what it is.
Um, our listeners have spread the word through direct links. So basically, they've taken a link from our show and sent them to their friends.
Well, that's kind of how when we first started this, with how we started sharing it to people we knew
Mm-hmm.
was direct link. So maybe that thing's just going and going.
And Survivor Series 95 was the most shared episode from Spotify this year.
All right.
And are we a gardener? Well, according to Spotify, we had a growth of 75% in followers this year.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
And that is it. I'll post the stats up on our Facebook group so you guys can see how we did this year. So thank you to our Spotify listeners for making this year a good year. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Now it's time for a review. In Your House 5. Now, we originally were going to do a poll, but we'd just been busy, and I was like, DK, why don't you pick one? So he was like, I've never seen In Your House December 95, so why don't we do that show? So I was like, okay.
Exactly. That's
That's
kind of how that went.
pretty much. Okay. So a couple of notes, and then we're gonna get into the show itself. So the venue that this is held in is the Hershey Park Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania. This is a very historic venue, DK, for a number of reasons.
Okay.
Besides this in your house, they hosted 3 Saturday nights main events in the 80s. And this is the building where Ric Flair won his second WWF title. But this venue is known for perhaps an even more famous event happening. Because on March 2nd, 1962, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points in a regular season NBA game against the New York Knicks.
Wow.
And it happened in this building.
That's an incredible game.
It is. So that's kind of the good side of this. Now to the not so good side of history. The attendance is a respectable crowd, 7,289. This is where it gets bad. And I'm going to have to explain this a little bit because I did some research after I first heard about this. This event that we are about to review is the record holder for the lowest pay-per-view buy rate in WWE history before the network started. And again, I had to do research. So I'm going to explain this.
Okay.
When I did the research, there are 2 other shows that had lower buy rates, but each one kind of has their own excuse. The one with 20,000 buy rates was done in England, so it kind of doesn't count. Okay. The one that has 40,000, not all cable providers had pay-per-view at the time. Okay. So, well, I mean, it's true. It's true.
Well, I think putting a show that close to Christmas is definitely a factor.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I want to do a December review, because the transition pay-per-view, during the In Your House years, it was basically a house show on TV.
Yeah.
The 2-hour show. I think this one's like an hour and 48 minutes or something. It was very short.
80,000 is the buy rate.
Go ahead.
80,000 is the buy rate.
80,000
this show. Yep.
Okay. And this is something I was thinking about when you were talking. I'd like to see what our numbers are for this show, because this is the pay-per-view after our biggest show of the year,
Survivor Series. Yeah.
And it's kind of funny how it's probably going to might be our last show of the year. We don't know what's happening yet.
Right.
But yeah, what you just said, our biggest show of the year was Survivor Series 95, and this is the show after that. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
So we had we had 3 dark matches, actually. We had one before the pay-per-view and 2 after the pay-per-view.
So do people stay and watch these dark matches when they're after?
Yeah, I would think.
And it depends on who's in it, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So the dark match that took place before the pay-per-view, Savio Vega defeated Bob Backlund.
Okay.
After the pay-per-view, Goldust defeated Duke the Dumpster Droese.
Nice.
And then we had 95. And then we had an 8-man tag match to basically send everybody home happy.
Okay.
Our friend Barry Horowitz, Hakushi, and the Smoking Guns defeat. Are you ready for this, team? You might want to be able to get to your seat for this one.
I'm on the edge right now, so let's go.
Yokozuna, Isaac Yankem and the Body Dadas.
Oh wow. That's quite the foursome.
My God.
Was Sonny out there too?
Yes, she was.
Now we never talked about our friend Tammy. Do we want to like even give her 30 seconds on this show?
Let's just say she'll be in jail for a long, long time.
Hey, spoiler alert, she's a shit person.
Yeah, pretty
Let's
much.
move on.
Pretty much. Okay. So now that we've got that all out of the way, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate Christmas. Here we
Mhm.
go with In Your House 5 Seasons Beatings. And the first thing I notice when the pay-per-view start after they do the intro.
Before you go forward, I can imagine the production meeting. What should we call the show? And then Bruce Pritchard goes, Seasons Beatings. And then Vince goes, I love it.
I
It's
like that too,
greetings.
Mr. McMahon.
It's greetings, but beatings. I love it.
It's Christmas.
Seasons beatings.
You know, I used to have season beatings
with shedding.
All right, we're gonna stop before we get carried away. Okay,
I think we were all getting carried away.
So Vince and Jerry are doing like their opening. In the background, there is a sign that says, and I think I'm getting the female name wrong. Kathleen, will you go steady with me?
I can't remember the name. I did see the sign too. I remember laughing.
Oh, we're off to a good start.
I'm like, you know what? If she's at home watching wrestling pay-per-view,
one of the
and
80,000
you're at the pay-per-view without her, like you probably should have just brought her to the show if you want to go steady.
Going one DMB like
that's my thinking. You know what? And if you're that guy from the crowd and you stumble across this podcast, send us a message. We'll have you on the show. We want to know if you ended up going steady. Maybe you married her. Who knows? Or maybe she didn't call you and didn't work out.
Maybe. So Vince McMahon then refers to Ted DiBiase as the Scrooge McDuck of the WWF.
I know.
Because, Scrooge McDuck is relevant in 1995.
Yeah, like like when I was a kid, Scrooge McDuck was Scrooge. That's how I knew who Scrooge was before I actually knew the actual story. Yeah, I'm like, he wasn't actually a duck.
And then, DuckTales, woohoo.
Yep.
So we begin with the 1, 2, 3 Kid and Sid against Marty Jannetty and Razor Ramon.
Which is like a kind of a big time opener.
It is. Because
this is coming off of Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
Marty was the last. Marty and 1, 2, 3 Kid were the final.
In their match.
In the opener at that show.
Sid got involved.
Razor, okay, so for this show, for December show, Razor Ramon in 95 was kind of a big superstar.
Mm-hmm.
For him to be in a tag match in the opening match, and they are starting the Goldust storyline here because Goldust is, and they were pushing the limits here with some of the stuff that they were referring to.
Yeah, he referenced The Graduate.
Yeah, because I thought it was a pretty good tag match.
Oh yeah,
I thought Marty Jannetty was really good in late 95.
Thank you.
He just had, you know what? I always said Marty Jannetty could have been a really big superstar if he just got his shit together.
Mm-hmm. And this is a perfect example.
Like two of the best performers at the time with Sean Waltman and Marty Jannetty, they were putting on a show here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was never a Sid fan, but he was okay for a big guy. Um, like he could have good matches if he was with the right guy.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Shawn Michaels had some decent ones.
Yep.
And then Razor, he was transitioning to the Goldust feud, but he was still kind of mad at 1, 2, 3 Kids. So it was pretty good. I liked the tag match.
Yeah,
Probably probably give it a C minus. It wasn't terrible. Had some good points.
I thought it was a pretty decent opening match, honestly. I like, and like you said, when Jannetty is focused, he's good. He's really good.
Yeah,
It's just a shame that, the drugs and the alcohol, sex, drugs, rock and roll
yeah.
got to him.
Yeah, he,
Um,
he lived like a rock star, and he didn't have anyone to kind of help him through it. So
yeah. I gave this a C,
okay,
so we're not too far off. Now,
I could have given it a little bit more, and it just
yeah,
in your house opener.
what did Dave Meltzer give this match?
um, me and Dave have been kind of on the same page in
As of late, yeah.
recent reviews. So I'm gonna say 1.25 stars.
You son of a bitch.
Did I get it right?
1.25.
Oh my god. I gotta get into Dave's
Right.
mindset. So I gotta like bang my head on the table a little bit.
Give yourself brain damage. I can see it in your forehead.
Watch the Tokyo Dome shows and then Jared. But yeah, I
Okay.
want to and like my phone is on the desk here. I'm not looking.
Right.
I had someone message me and say, "You're just looking at Meltzer's reviews."
All
And
right.
then
So
guessing.
after they plug the 900 number, this is where the show takes a nosedive.
Okay, so did you ever call that number? Because I remember my mom being pissed.
I don't think I ever did.
I think I called and it was like a recording of Sonny talking. It wasn't
Hi,
you guys
honey.
never got to talk to the real wrestlers. Just a recording. This is the Undertaker.
No, I
Thanks
never
for
did.
calling. Rest in
I
peace.
was kind of taught by my parents 900 numbers cost money. So,
Well, yeah, I knew that too. I was just kind of hoping they wouldn't care.
all right. So now this is where the show takes a nosedive. So our ring announcer is Manny Garcia, probably the most forgotten ring announcer in the history of wrestling.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know who this is.
So he introduces. So he goes, the following contest is scheduled from one fall. Introducing first, from Knoxville, Tennessee, Nature Boy Buddy Rydell. Who? And then Jerry Lawler gets on the mic. Manny jumped the gun on this
Yep.
because there's supposed to be a segment before the match.
Oh, is that what happened?
So Jerry gets in the ring and he introduces, to the roar of two female fans in the front row, Jeff Jarrett.
Is that what was happening here?
Yep.
Okay.
Like I legitimately saw two women in the front row cheering the Jeff Jarrett came back.
JFFJRRET double
So
J.
so
He taught
Jerry,
me how to spell that song.
yeah, it's pretty easy. So Jerry Lawler talks about, what Jeff Jarrett did with the Ain't I Great tour and the Ain't I Great album. And Jarrett gets a gold CD. And Jarrett talks about how he's coming out with a new album and a new tour, the Greater Than Great tour. And then he announces that he is the first person to enter in the Royal Rumble. Spoiler alert, he won't be in it. So after that, Dean Douglas comes out. So the match is supposed to be Dean Douglas versus Ahmed Johnson. However, because Dean Douglas's back is only at 65% healthy, the doctors would not let him compete. but he has a graduate student that will take his place. And it is Nature Boy Buddy Landell. Not Rydell, Landell. And
It's a bad segment, man.
oh boy. Now, if you ever ask JR about Buddy Landell, he'll tell you he had a lot of ability. He could have been great, but the drugs got to him. So Ahmed Johnson comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Jared's like, where are his elbow pads? Is he a wrestler? I think he's doing his best Art Donovan.
Yeah.
Johnson hits the Pearl River plunge. He wins. I gave this an F. It is terrible.
Yep. It was, yeah. Like, are you giving the whole segment an F or the just a little
Just,
match?
I don't know. Like the match was very brief.
Well, they're setting up the Jarrett Ahmed Johnson story here, right?
Right.
I think at Royal Rumble, don't they face each other?
They do.
Yeah.
Meltzer did not give this match any ratings, so
You usually Meltzer doesn't normally give ratings if it's like a squash.
mm-hmm.
And then wasn't there a part where didn't he like nail Ahmed with a plaque or something?
Yes. So
What,
Johnson has an
freaking
interview with
hard,
Lawler,
man.
and he calls Jerry Jarrett an achy, breaky heart wannabe.
Yeah,
Remember,
I
this is
was like,
1995, folks. So Jarrett hits him over the head with the plaque, and then he takes him head first into the steel chairs, and it's a nasty sound too. Oh my gosh, it is nasty sounding. But Ahmed manages to get back, and they run all the way to the locker room. So
yeah, Ahmed was he was great for not selling anything.
that was a thing.
Yeah. Like I know you're a big, powerful guy, but you gotta sell it a little bit.
You kind of do.
You gotta make the fans care about your comeback and everything. So
Yeah.
that was one of his downfalls.
Oh, and Santa Claus is here. He's in the crowd giving away Christmas gifts.
Well, that's nice.
I know, he's such a nice guy. So Todd Pettengill, he's in the back with Razor Ramon.
Yeah, I love Todd Pettengill. He was great.
So
He's
they
probably
talk
one of my
about
favorite like guys in the back that walks around and talks. He's probably one of
when
my favorite.
he's serious, he's really good.
Yeah, even when he's funny.
He's some moments. There's some.
SummerSlam '97
Oh yeah, the $1 million.
with the lady. He's like, "Hey, do that again." Creepy.
So we find out Ahmed or Razor Ramon has a title defense tomorrow night against Yokozuna. Oh, and by the way, Goldust gave me this envelope to give to you. So Razor reads it and he leaves in anger.
Yeah.
So DK, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
You've been to many houses in your life. Have you ever been to one with a hog pen?
I've been to one with a hog pen outside.
Well, because our next match is a hog
inside.
match.
Not in the
Exactly,
living
not
room.
inside. And hey, we got a guest referee. It's Hillbilly Jim. To see him. He's such a nice guy. He really is.
Billy Jim is the greatest.
He's a sweetheart of a guy.
Did this match need a referee? Like, couldn't the timekeeper just ring the bell when the guy got thrown in the pen?
I don't think the
They
timekeeper.
really need a ref to go.
I don't think that timekeeper was going within 20 feet of that pig pen.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so our next match is the hog pen match. Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Henry Godwin. And before the match begins, Godwin has a bucket of slop. He's going to throw the slop onto Helmsley. Helmsley pulls Tony Chimmel in front of him. And Chimmel and a few people in the first few rows take the slop.
I remember going to a house show when Henry Godwin was like, it was probably around this time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to look at their house show list and give you an accurate date. But yeah, it was Henry Godwin and Hunter Hearst Helmsley was the match, and that slop did smell like it was gross. So like there was always like rumors involving Sonny and like what was in the
Mhm.
slop. Like a lot of the guys were just making their own.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
But yeah, I can imagine if you're getting hit with that in the first couple of rows, is probably not the greatest experience.
So this is basically we fight in the ring, we'll fight near the pen, we go back to the ring, we go back to the pen. At one
It's
point,
like a buried alive match. Like you're fighting in the ring, but you're supposed to get to this one spot. Like
right.
start over there. I
So
don't know.
at one
Just,
point, Hunter goes back first into the
mhm.
gate that opens the pen, and his back is bleeding. Like, and then what happens afterwards is kind of scary. Like, I'm surprised he didn't get an infection
Yeah,
from that.
he's actually talked about that before, about how it was close and the gash was pretty big.
Yeah. So the end of the match, Hunter is kind of in the into the pen. Godwin's going for a clothesline. Back body drop. Godwin goes into the hog pen. Hunter wins. And then
He's protected in '95 from losing to Henry Godwin.
I know. And then after the match, Godwin gets him into the pen, body slams him into the dirt, the mud, and he has to get the pigs moving. The pigs aren't really doing anything. So Henry and Hillbilly start celebrating.
Yep.
And as Hunter is getting up, he's doing this fantastic sell job.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
it's so good. And then this is the part that made me laugh out loud while I'm watching this show. Hunter gets up. He's, trying to get himself together. A random fan throws a cup and hits him square in the head. Oh, it's so great. Oh, I, you
You
know
know
what?
what? Like it's a gimmick match, but and like it's never gonna get a 5-star review.
Oh, no.
But it's one of those matches where I was entertained the whole
Mhm.
time. So I'm gonna give it a decent grade. And that doesn't mean that it was a top 10 match
Right.
ever, but
Right.
I will when I think of Triple H, won't think of this match because I won't even really think of his Hunter Hearst Helmsley persona.
Hmm.
But like he was great at this spot, and like the way he was selling when he was kept falling down in the pen. Like I'm gonna give it a C. I liked it. I really liked the match. It was entertaining, and the crowd kind of got what they wanted. They wanted to see that snobby guy throwing in that slop. So they get what they want.
I'm gonna tell you who the star of this match is. It's Jerry Lawler. During the match,
You know,
he does Jeff Foxworthy, you might be a redneck jokes.
yeah.
He hits three in a row that are kind of bad. And then the last one is the best one
That was the
because
last one. I remember it being great.
if your 2-year-old has more teeth than you might be from Bitters, Arkansas. And at that point, Vince is like, will you stop it? Vince just loses it after that joke. It is
You might be.
absolutely hilarious.
Is that even a real place?
Um, that's a
Like
good.
it sounds made up, but it probably is real.
Let me look it up.
And since we're getting close to that time where we have our debates, when is Henry Godwin going to get put into the Hall of Fame?
I know, right?
Doesn't he deserve it?
He does. Yeah, he does. I like him.
Like would he go in as a tag team with the Godwins, or would he go in as a singles Henry O. Godwin character?
Probably as a tag team.
Like because you know, I thought he had a pretty decent singles run too. So
Okay, so apparently Better's Arkansas is not a real place, or
It
at least I
sounded
couldn't.
made up.
Although I couldn't find it on a map,
Yeah, it might be like a small little hamlet somewhere.
maybe. Um, but no, that joke about the 2-year-old in teeth was just funny.
Oh, everybody loves those Foxworthy jokes. They go on
Um,
forever.
I'm almost on the same boat with you. I gave this a C minus. It's
Okay,
like it's
that's funny how I gave the first match a C minus, you gave it a
yeah.
C. So we're average. We're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what did our boy Dave do? I don't see him liking this. I'm gonna say like a half a star.
A star.
Yeah, I'll say they give a star. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So then we get a promo for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and then we get a video package for Owen Hart versus Diesel. So the backstory is Diesel lost the title at Survivor Series.
Super.
He's he's now a different man.
Mm-hmm.
The same night on Raw, Owen has a match with Shawn. Shawn collapses. This is the post-concussion syndrome storyline,
Or we all believed it.
which we all believed.
I did. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I did too.
I remember I was hard, like, oh my god, I thought I didn't know if he was gonna be okay again.
And then Owen takes credit for taking Shawn out.
Oh, so that's the buildup. Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how that happened.
So this is, man, it's basically a non-match. Like
Yeah.
Owen gets a couple moves in, but Diesel's just pounding on him, beating him up. And
Yeah.
then he goes for the jackknife and he goes, "This is for you, Shawn." And he hits him with the jackknife powerbomb. So you're thinking, okay,
Mhm.
it's over. 1, 2, pulls him up. Uh-oh. He's going to do it a second time. The referee tells him, you've got him. You don't need to do it. Diesel hits the referee. Ref calls for the bell. Owen Hart wins, and he gets jackknifed again.
Back-to-back losses to the Hart brothers.
And then Diesel, after the match, motions the title around his waist.
Yep.
You will see where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if this match had gotten a little bit more time, I think I would have liked it a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I gave this a D.
I know there was buildup, but it felt like there was not a lot of love for either wrestler here, so it's kind of hard to get the match over.
Mm-hmm.
Diesel, he wasn't like a heel yet, but he was on his way.
Right.
And Owen Hart was a full out heel.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the fans supposed to cheer here?
Right.
They're like, if they're Bret Hart fans, they're not fans of how Diesel was unsportsmanlike in his match after
Right.
he
Because
lost.
he's helping Shawn.
But you're not going to cheer for Owen, right?
Right.
So, like, I get the booking because they were still saying that Shawn and Diesel are two dudes with attitudes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get that, but it was just hard for this match to get over on. I didn't really like it. Like I like Owen Hart matches, usually all of them. This is one of the ones I didn't like. But like you said, it wasn't really much of a match. I'll give this one a D.
Yeah, that's the same grade I gave it as a D.
What's who do? Kind of the same. Half star.
Star and a half. Oh
Really?
no, you're right. Half a star. I'm sorry. No, wait. Yeah, 1.5 stars.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I like, we disagree on a lot of stuff. So maybe he liked the build up or something.
Right. All right. So now, if you thought, what was that?
I was just laughing at
Oh,
Diesel.
so now, if you thought the segment with Buddy Rydell was bad, oh, it gets worse. So this is like I'm watching it and I'm thinking this has got to be the production F up of all F ups. Because you've got Savio Vega with Santa Claus coming
Mhm.
down the aisle giving gifts. Ted DiBiase is already in the ring. They're playing his song as Jim Cornette is carrying Owen to the back. So,
Yeah, I think somebody left early. I don't know.
oh my God. So, so Ted
Yeah, the Savio Vega
DiBiase,
thing was kind of dumb.
so DiBiase cuts a promo talking about how, you know, Santa Claus is fake. He's not real. And then he says that he's got Savio Vega. So he asks Vega, do you believe it's Santa Claus? And he's like, yes, I believe in Santa Claus. So then Ted says, you believe him? Well, maybe you'll believe this. Santa Claus hits him from behind with the bag.
Santa with the heel turn right before Christmas.
Vince McMahon does the worst sell job in the history of sell jobs. He is trying to sell Santa Claus is a heel.
Santa, what are you doing?
Santa, oh my God, he sold out to Ted DiBiase. Oh,
He's a Grinch. He's a Grinch.
the best,
He's Scrooge McDuck.
the best, the best part of this
Oh my God.
is the fans don't buy this one bit.
Wouldn't expect the kids are going to start booing Santa. They're probably going to start attacking Savio too. Savio's evil. Santa
I
wouldn't hurt
believe
him.
it's Santa Claus. Oh, he sold out to Ted DiBiase.
Didn't Jerry Lawler say like Savio's on the naughty list?
Oh, please tell me not, Savio.
I think he said something about naughty list.
So, so Ted DiBiase leaves with Santa Claus, who's now a bad guy. But Savio comes back, chases him down, and the wig comes off.
Oh, it's not really Santa.
Oh, it's not the real Santa. Okay.
Who was it again? I can't remember now.
It ends up being Balls Mahoney.
Oh, okay.
He is known as Santa Claus from the South Pole. And this other part that I'm about to tell you, I did not know until I watched a video review a few weeks ago. Are you ready for this?
I don't think so, but let's go anyway.
Balls Mahoney is gone by the end of the week.
That was his so you can leave now moment.
Well, let me tell you what happened. According to stories, he got fired because he got in a dispute with George Steele about pay.
Like, I'm Santa. I should be top guy money.
You,
Let's go.
hey!
George Steele was part of money back then.
I think he was an agent at that time. He was not liked as an agent. Let's say that. But
eating all the nipples.
So Balls Mahoney is there for only a week. He loses his job because he gets fired because of pay. Mm-hmm. And it's like, he'll never be back. Yeah, he will. And he'll actually be pretty much liked in WWE in 11 years.
Yep.
All right. So then we get a video package, which leads us to the casket match between King Mabel and The Undertaker. So while King Mabel is making his way towards the ring, hey, Doc Hendricks is here. He's selling us WrestleMania, the video game.
Yeah, did you see that Super Nintendo was like
76 bucks?
I was like, what?
Holy crap.
I think the PlayStation one was like
cheaper.
It's cheaper, and it was the better system. It made no sense. It was making me crazy. It's all I thought about.
I still have my copy of that from PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Of WrestleMania.
You still play it?
I probably
it's like
should.
An arcade style, just like back and forth, like Street Fighter almost.
I still have the PC version of WrestleMania, the arcade game.
We gotta stream
I
that.
got to figure out how to get that set up. Oh,
Yeah.
and if you buy the game in one of the systems, either the S or the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, or the PlayStation, you get for free the how to, you know, the how to video.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they used to have the books that came with codes that you had to buy.
Yep. You get the video for free. 70 freaking bucks on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that's like, oh my god.
In 95. We're talking
Yeah, that's
1995.
that's like an $800 game now. The way inflation's going.
Oh man. All right, so Undertaker comes out. We have our match. It's
Yeah.
that kind of a match.
Can
Um,
can I tell you something that might be controversial?
okay.
Casket matches are boring. I've always disliked them. Like I know they use the casket match as like a way for the Undertaker to leave for a while. Like I know we've talked about it many times of 94, Bill being scared. But it's I I've never really got into them too much. So and this one was pretty bad. That this was the end of like their rivalry.
Yeah.
So you had to have like that payoff moment, which I guess when you're facing the Undertaker would be a casket match. So,
Hmm.
but I was just not the hugest fan of that kind of match.
I think if you're gonna do a casket match, it's got to be with the right person. The problem was Undertaker very rarely had the right person. Like the two that I can think of off the top of my head are Yokozuna and Shawn Michaels, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like
What
everybody
was
else.
what made Yokozuna the right person for you? Like he was such a big guy. Like I always said it was harder when there was a big guy because he
With
had to like move him over there.
Well, I mean, the first time around, he was the right guy.
Oh, the one where everybody attacked him.
Yeah.
Okay.
The second time, I could have maybe done without, but that
Chuck Norris
was
part of that, so it's hard. Yeah. So
But with Sean, they had the Hell in a Cell match a few months
yeah.
prior. Sean's the
Hmm.
champ. So
Yeah.
what would have been interesting is if they had ever done a Mankind Undertaker casket match. I think that one would have been good had they
They
ever done
never,
it.
they never did one.
I don't think they ever did.
I know they had when he fought Gold Dust,
Right.
Gold Casket. Mankind was part of that, but he wasn't in the match.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's strange that they never like they did Buried Alive,
Hell in a
Hell in a
Cell,
Cell. That's strange that they
Boiler
never
Room
did the
Brawl.
casket match. Yeah, they
Yeah,
probably did. Maybe not on TV.
basically what we're doing is it kind of tells you how this match went.
Oh
Mabel
yeah, Mabel
Mabel
lost.
goes Mabel goes to close the casket, but Undertaker stops it. Undertaker gets up. He beats up Mabel. He gets Mabel into the casket. Mo comes in. Mo gets beat up for his troubles. He gets put in the casket. Before Undertaker can close the casket, he grabs the gold chain. That's the melted urn. Ooh. Then he
Ooh.
closes the casket. Undertaker wins. And then he motions that he wants the world title.
Yeah, and that was kind of like the first time you'd seen Undertaker do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he had had the title before when he beat Hogan, but it was like, wow, he's actually showing human things here.
Exactly.
Like, I want to be champion. I'm not just like this killer that does what Paul Bear says.
Oh,
So,
breaking news. The Detroit Pistons lost again.
what's how many in a row is that now?
22 now, I think.
They didn't win since
They haven't won since last season.
what?
Yeah,
They're over.
they're over.
They have 0 wins this season.
Well, no, actually, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. They won 2, and then they've lost now like their last 20.
I know they went 0-15 in November
They haven't won a game in December yet.
because they always have on the NFL Twitter, they always have the Ofer Club for the month. And they actually included the Pistons in their tweet.
Yeah.
Because they haven't won at all, which is incredible. So Detroit's like the new team that's gonna probably get the best player coming out of the draft.
Probably. Okay. So as far as this match, very forgettable. It's a D.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, I was already not into it with like Undertaker's mask was cool. So when I saw the match coming up, I'm like, this might be okay. Yeah, like Mabel was just yeah.
Would you like to guess what Meltzer gave this one?
Undertaker's in it. 1 star.
1.5. All right. So now, we're gonna get to the main event. But before we get to the main event, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Because this match that we're going to talk about is the reason why we chose to do this show.
Yeah.
When was the first time you saw this match?
First time I saw
the Brett
first time I saw
Yeah.
Yeah, first time I saw this match in its entirety was 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
When I watched it for the review.
Okay.
I've seen little bits of it because of all the bloodshed, and you've seen in replays and stuff. But yeah, watching it from start to finish, first time was when we just watched. So
the first time I saw this match was on a Monday Night Raw. So this was the week that we had like the big blizzard of 96. Like, we got our butts kicked with this snowstorm.
okay.
So it was a Monday night, and they're like, no school tomorrow. So it kind of goes to a rule that I think I've said in the past. If there's no school the next day, I get to stay up to watch Raw. So that night, they aired this match on Raw. And they were like, oh, it's a very violent match. Viewer discretion advised. Because, like, I remember, like, they were hyping this match like it's one of the most violent matches of all time, you know? And I was like, okay, I gotta see this.
Yeah.
Like, forget about whatever's on Nitro. I'm watching this. So this is, yeah. So that's the first time I saw it, was like 3 weeks, I think, after the actual match happened. So
Okay.
okay, so it's Bulldog and Brett. It is a completely different style match than the one they had at Wembley. Damn, is this a good match? But one thing I noticed before we get into some of the keynotes, and I couldn't believe I saw this with my own eyes, DK. There was a woman in a suit who was taking signs away from fans in the first few rows.
Really?
Oh my God. And she was getting
try to not show that on camera.
She was getting booed so badly.
Boy, because people couldn't see or what they said on the sign.
Well, I think it was what it was on the sign, but I didn't see anything that was bad on the sign. That's the thing.
Maybe she's the one that didn't want to go steady.
Now, I did notice.
Not going steady with you.
I did notice there was a young fan further away earlier in the show who had a Burt Hart shirt or sign, and Hart, Heart.
Oh, I always hate when they spell heart wrong.
Burt Hart.
Burt Hart.
Ernie, I'm the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. That's what it needed to be. Okay. So, like I said, Burt Hart. Ernie the Anvil Nyhard.
Yep.
Oh, that would be great. Can someone make that, please?
Please do it. The House of Bill.
Yeah, baby. Okay, so this is a back and forth match. A lot of early technical wrestling. Then Davy Boy gets the advantage. They go to the outside. Davy Boy sends Brett into the steel steps. This is where Brett starts to bleed. And it is a puddle, a literal puddle of blood on the floor.
So
And
was this was it the hard way, or did he bleed?
I
Because I
think
don't
he
think so
bladed on
good.
this one.
Okay. It seems strange for 95. And for this match, like, did this match need the blood? Maybe it did. Because
I
we're
don't
still
know.
talking about it.
Actually, Brett in his book talks about how to blade.
Yeah. He was always good at it, but I think if he did blade here, then he kind of did it too
It's
deep.
very rare you see him, bleeding. But yeah,
Yeah.
like, and Vince is like, can we move the cameras back? We don't need to see this. But
Yeah.
that's what makes it so good. And then Brett comes back and he's all fired up. And it's like boom, 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 boom. You get near falls, suplexes, superplexes. Brett tries to get the sharpshooter, but Davey just gets to the ropes. And then you get to the end. And it's such a great ending. Davey is on his knees. Brett grabs the arm, does a spin of the arm, goes into a pin. Basically, later it's called the La Magistral. 1, 2, 3. Brett wins, retains the title, and an amazing match. Diana, who is sitting at ringside, is heartbroken, pardon the pun. Her husband loses. Hell of a match. I think now you said something controversial earlier. I'm gonna say something controversial. I think I prefer this one over the one at Wembley more. And I and I
Yeah.
and I know the match at Wembley is hailed as an all-time classic. Yeah, I get that. I respect that. I think this is the better match of the two, honestly.
I think because they were both baby faces in
Mm-hmm.
Wembley, and the venue, obviously. Like, you had what, 75,000, and then you had 7,800.
Yeah,
Um, I think the match at In Your House would be forgotten if it wasn't for the blood.
yeah, I agree with that.
It is like, the reason I knew about this match and how good it was because of the blood that you didn't really see that very often at this time in 1995. Um, I don't think it's better than a Wembley match. It's definitely a good match. It's one of Bulldog's best matches for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, like, it's my match of the night for
Oh my
sure.
God, yes.
There
It's
there
not even
isn't
close.
there isn't much of a competition for this show, but this is like the transition in your house. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're setting up Royal Rumble. Um, I don't even know what my second favorite would be here, but yeah, it's definitely, like, I would probably say a B minus here. I kind of expected, like, if I was watching this live, I would have not expected Bulldog to win because Brett had just won the
Just
title
won it, yeah.
going into WrestleMania type season. Don't expect him to lose, so maybe at 95, I wouldn't have really thought ahead like that
Mm-hmm.
at the age I was. So, but yeah, really good match. I'm not willing to say better than Wembley. That is a hot take. I I like the hot take, and it made me think about it. I almost want to watch the Wembley match. I want to watch that In Your House match and then watch the Wembley match. Maybe I'll have a different opinion then.
I gave this an A minus.
Holy shit!
I really enjoyed this match.
A minus.
Yeah,
Wow. That
I
might be the highest rated In Your House match of all time by Bill.
Maybe.
Holy, I am like, I'm falling off my chair. Here I go.
All right. What do you think Meltzer gave this match?
I think Meltzer would have really liked this. I would have said probably 4 stars.
4.5.
Yeah, it's like one of his type of like superstar showdown matches. Yeah, and
So,
that's superplex. The superplex at the top
mhm.
was
So after the match, we get an in your house extra where Todd Pettingill is in the back with Paul
oh
Bearer
yeah.
and Undertaker. Now, what we didn't mention, and I kind of didn't want to mention it during this match, but I can mention it now. During the match, they announced that interim president, Gorilla Monsoon, he's not yet the president, he's just interim, announces the Undertaker gets the next title shot at the Royal Rumble. So Paul Bearer, he's on the mic. He's like, "Oh, our creatures of the night have been asking, when will the Undertaker get a title shot?" So he cuts a promo, and then Diesel comes in, and Diesel is pissed. He's like, "How come he gets the next title shot and I don't? I'm the former champion." And then Paul makes a smart ass comment, and Diesel grabs him, and then Undertaker grabs his wrist, and they look at each other, and Undertaker goes, "It's gonna be what it's gonna be." And they stare like eyes into each other as Brett's theme is playing. And
Yeah.
then we get the video package for In Your House, and that's how the show ends.
Yeah, see, now if this was um a few years later, that would have been a really good segment on Monday Night Raw in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they put it at the end of a pay-per-view in the back. It's just a different way they used to do things.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
that could have been a really cool segment. Undertaker, like them announcing him as the number one contender, he comes out, and then Diesel comes out mad, and they do what they did in the back in the ring, setting up their WrestleMania match.
Yeah. Um, Now there is one thing I do want to mention, and it's not WWF related because something happens the next night that's a pretty big deal. The next night on Nitro is the night Medusa dumps the WWF women's title in the trash can.
That's the next night.
The next night.
Yeah.
So you come off having this incredible main event match on a show that, let's be honest, it's forgettable. Like
Jesus.
PK and I are never going to be going back to this show in 20 years to re-review this show. That ain't happening.
Oh, don't never say never again.
And WCW, it's like it just sweeps under them. Their women's champion dumps the belt in the trash.
Well, they kind of got rid of the women's division in 95, didn't they?
By the end, yeah.
It's like 94 Survivor Series. That's when you had that big Survivor Series match.
Right.
Where the girls from
Japan.
Asia came over to Japan, and she beat Alundra Blaze, which was a big shock. And then I was trying to we remember when we talked about that show, we were trying to figure out what happened with the women's division after that. So, like, she probably was frustrated with everything that was going on.
Yeah. But I mean, I think overall, as a show, and I said this to you while I was watching. I've never used this word before, but I don't know if I ever will again. This is a funny show.
Yeah, you did mention that to me. I was curious what you meant by that.
It is funny for the two horrible segments that we got.
Yeah.
The hog pen match is entertaining. It has its funny moments, like we talked.
Okay, that would be my second favorite match. Okay, there we go.
But again, Brett and Davey save the show.
Yep.
Otherwise, like you said, this is very forgotten, probably never talked about again. So
You know what? There's a lot of shows where people think it's a good show. One, Bad Blood '97. Okay, Hell in a Cell saved the show.
mm-hmm.
WrestleMania 13 was a dumpster fire of a WrestleMania. Brett and Austin saved that
Save
show.
the show.
Remember Psycho Sid in the main event of WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
It was freaking terrible. But so when people, if people think about this December in your house, I don't know if they do, but they will remember the Bulldog and Brett with blood, and
Mm-hmm.
they might remember the hog pen match because I don't think there's too many of those.
I think this is the
And
only one.
they might go back and go, man, that was a great show. Remember Bulldog and Brett? Yeah, well, do you remember Diesel and Owen Hart?
Remember Santa Claus turned heel? I can't believe it.
Greetings. I love it.
We
With that,
need elves.
with that being said,
Okay. Now I do want to ask one more question, then we'll wrap things up. Because this is, to my knowledge, the only time WWE ever did a holiday themed pay per view like this. Is it a good thing they never did another one?
well, what about this one that I keep hearing about that you don't want to review? December to Dismember. Does that count as a holiday theme? They had the month in the title. It didn't have anything to do with Christmas?
Yeah. Part of me also thinks of the date, you know,
Yeah.
like this was the week before Christmas, that show. When was December to Dismember? When was that show? Let me look that up.
I remember you were saying it was '06. I don't know the date. And that's another thing that I think is good with Triple H. He's giving the talent like time off for Christmas.
Yes.
Like there's no house shows from December 19th to the 25th.
Yes.
And that's awesome. Like Vince never would have done that. He would
Um,
have you would have maybe got Christmas Day off and then back on a plane.
okay, so
Yeah.
this was on December the 3rd, 2006.
Okay, so barely not you're not really thinking about Christmas at that point.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, we're getting into that fun time of year. I'm sure we're gonna review a few Royal Rumbles here coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I had a wrestler review that I wanted to throw
All
past you.
right. Well, we can't do Santa Claus, so
Do you have somebody that you're thinking about for our next show?
no.
Because I have somebody, and I think it would be very interesting to do.
Okay.
I want to do 97 to 99, Mr. McMahon,
Ooh.
the character.
Ooh.
We're not going to talk about Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the owner of the
Right.
World Wrestling Federation. The character, Mr. McMahon. And I think a good place to start would probably be the day after
Survivor
Montreal,
Series. Yep.
because that's when the character is born. When he comes out and says Brett screwed Brett, we'll start there.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought we're 50 episodes in, we haven't done, in my opinion, the greatest heel of all time.
I mean, we haven't done the boss, you know.
So I don't know if we did a poll if that one would lose to anybody.
No.
I think that would
I
be.
concede. I concede.
And yes, and then I think in January we'll both pick a Royal Rumble we want to review, and we will do that, and then we'll be right into the way we're doing things.
Yep, the road to WrestleMania.
Check out, if you're new here, check out our shows in February to March. We did some really cool fantasy style WrestleMania bookings last year. I'd be curious to go back and see what the reactions were on those shows, because they were kind of fun. They were just hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Who would win? Who would win in the China versus somebody? I can't remember how we did it, but
Randy Orton gives an RKO to Elizabeth to set up that
right,
storyline.
right. Forgot about that. That son of a bitch. The RKO to Elizabeth. Yeah. Okay, so we did forget one thing.
What did we forget?
The 3 stars of the show.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Because this is something we started doing a couple of episodes ago. We can pick, like, what I think we were doing.
We did the
we
star
doing?
of the show and an honorable mention.
Yeah, okay, that's what we'll do. How about I go with the honorable mention this time around? Because I don't think you're gonna pick this. I think the honorable mention stars of the show is the commentary team of Vince and Jerry. I think they really saved a lot of this show. So that would be my choice for honorable mention. Who's your star? See, we have the same one.
Gosh. The star of this show might be Bret Hart.
Yeah, you don't have to think too hard. If it's the best match and the best guy in the best match, it's easy to say Bret Hart. And that's who I would go with.
You actually
I thought like as like a surprise or a dark horse, maybe Marty Jannetty in the first match.
yes.
I was going to use him as my honorable mention, but the commentary really helped this show, so I wanted to have that.
I'm gonna
Marty Jannetty. Like if there's a 3 star like they do in hockey games, it would be Marty, commentary, Bret.
You know, I'm gonna give you another honorable mention because
Sure.
I actually was thinking commentary.
Santa Claus, right?
No,
That's
the crowd for having to go through the 2 segments and the fans that sat right near the hog pen.
and those poor people that actually spent $74 on
Oh
freaking
man.
WrestleMania the arcade on Super Nintendo.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I almost forgot one more thing. This okay, so there's a famous prank story that happened after the show. I think as soon as I say it, you'll remember it.
Okay.
After the show is or after Vince is done, he goes to his office in the arena. The pigs are in his office. Owen put the pigs in his office.
I know. Oh, Owen was such a prankster.
God bless Owen.
But yeah. I'll show you where to put them. They go right here. Yep.
Give me a 5-minute match with Kevin Nash.
Man,
All right.
we talked going a lot on this podcast, but I
do.
could do 7 or 8 more episodes just on funny shit that Owen Hart did. Like stories I've heard.
Yep.
Just being from Calgary and everything, right?
So join our Facebook group, the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah, please do.
Because we're close to 100. Come on. Can we have a Christmas miracle?
We're obviously getting the listens, which is awesome. That's why like we're excited about that. But we still aren't getting people joining the Facebook group. So great. If you joined, it's easy to find. Just type in our names. We're the only one, DK and Bill. Just type in DK and Bill and we're right there.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you all about Mr. McMahon next time.